moments, Mr. Mayor Brad Nash has made his way in. Yay! He sauntered in. Sauntered. I always love that word. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But sauntered in. Yeah.
It sounds good.
Does. Kind of sounds like some. What did he say?
Melba said we're using them big words.
Oh,
again.
yeah. I don't think saunter is a very big word. I just don't know how to spell it. But be that as it may. Anyway, good to have you here, my friend.
Good to be here.
Anyway, mayor's position and fire chief and wins, and but it was probably an interesting night Saturday night. We had emergency management director, one of those other hats you wear.
Oh, yes. Let's just throw them all on at the same time.
Lots of wind, lots of,
It was.
And we weren't in the bad area.
Yeah, we were actually, Deanna and I had went out for dinner and kind of got away for a little bit, which normally doesn't happen. And we were able to, and as soon as we got done eating, we looked at the radar, and it's like, we better start heading home. And we got to the edge of Rolla when their tornado sirens and stuff started going off, and it's like, okay, let's get home.
Yeah.
And we knew we was driving out of it, so we were all right.
Right.
Definitely not a place I wanted to be at
No.
that time.
But still had some winds and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
there was still some stuff out there.
Absolutely.
Definitely out there. But not as bad here as they had in some other cases. But still overall, I mean, not a big damaging storm. A little bit of damage up around Camdenton and stuff of that nature. But number of trees, limbs, stuff starts falling down. Not a lot of leaves out there, so it doesn't really knock a lot of trees down because it blows right through. But still can do some damage out there, especially for any of those trees or anything that are compromised, and it can knock them down. But anyway, interesting weekend. And now it's going to be breezy for the next few days. One of the things that we want to remind everybody about is no matter how much rain you got or didn't get, some people got about half an inch, some people got an inch. Some people down in southern Dane County may have gotten 3 inches, but I guarantee you that by Wednesday afternoon it will be just bone dry.
Yeah, it will be with all that wind and everything. So, be careful. Just
don't burn outdoors. Today is the day. If you're going to do it, 5-mile-an-hour winds out of the north, we can handle 5-mile-an-hour winds, but 30-mile-an-hour gusts is not what you want to be doing when you're burning anything.
Not at all. And, one thing that we might mention, too, is, if you're out burning today and you're burning brush piles or something with big chunks of wood, you need to keep an eye on that for the next couple of days because, even though it looks like it's out, there can still be hot embers in there. We go to fires all the time, and they're like, well, we haven't burnt in 2 days. Well, there's still little embers in there that you can't really see, and so when that wind picks up, it'll blow them out of those piles, and so you have to be very careful with that.
That or wet it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sprinkle it down, kind of like forest fires, man, until it's cool when about over your hand.
Yep.
Until it's cool. All right, very good. All right, so keep that in mind. But we're not here to talk about that, but we thought we'd bring it up because it's going to be really windy.
Yes.
So watch out for that. Okay, Board of Aldermen meeting last night, Community Center at the Armory. Still waiting on City Hall Council chambers to be open again and move the city administration back into the offices. Got a little delay on that. We can just talk about that right now. A little delay with COVID-19. We've seen this happen before. Some materials didn't get here on time. We heard that story before, right?
Absolutely. And, it's really frustrating because we had set a deadline, that we were going to be back in the building, and we were on track to meet that deadline. Everything at this point in the utility office is done. All the floor coverings are in, the trim's on, the data networking, all that stuff is
ready.
We're just waiting on the workstations for the utility department, and then as soon as the workstations get here, which it's supposed to be now the 19th, that it's supposed to be here, and so when we get that in and we get those in place, then we have to have the glass company come in and finish that part off. And then we're ready to go. But, it's been a frustration when you work so hard and you put in the hours to make sure that you're going to hit the deadline, and then something that you can't control pops up, and and there you are. So
Waiting.
yeah. So
You wait.
we're hoping within the next few weeks we can get those workstations in, get the glass work and everything done, and get moved back in and be back to some semblance of normal, whatever that looks like.
Whatever that might be. All right, so very good. Anyway, but Mr. Walden did talk about that, and that is scheduled to get done hopefully by December 1st. Now we're
Yes.
hoping, but you do have that holiday in there that always kind of throws a monkey wrench into things because that 1 week of Thanksgiving usually is kind of a wasted week. You
Yeah.
know, nobody wants to work
Yeah.
3 days or 2.5 or 2, you know, and plus deer season's still going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So it becomes an interesting time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about a couple of things on. First off, in the meeting, the closing of 4th Street on December 5th. This is actually the Salem Holiday or Christmas Committee, if whatever you're going to call it, and as well as Healthy Dane County, and they're all part in this together. The closing of the 4th Street, as we all know, it's a night of the Parade of Lights. You know, so that's at 5:30. But during the day, there's going to be some possible other activities. During the afternoon, there's a couple of stores that may want to do some things on their own. But also at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a Santa Dash. Brad wants to be in this, you know.
No, I don't
Anyway,
know. There would have to be an
the
ambulance
Santa
on
Dash,
site.
you see Santas and elves and Mrs. Clauses or whatever running in the proper holiday attire.
Yes.
You know, anyway, you can get registered to do that from Healthy Dane County. But that will be from 3 and probably until 3:30. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a dash up the street and back down.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty cool to watch that. And so we hope you come on out and watch that starting at 3 o'clock on December 5th.
You know, after that was mentioned last night at the meeting, I kept envisioning elf shoes, you know, that you see with the
Curled
big
up.
curl up on the top. And it's like, I want to see somebody run up and down 4th Street with those shoes on.
Well, Santa boots aren't going to be much easier. But anyway, but it'll be interesting. And then, of course, the parade. So the closing of 4th Street was from noon until 3 o'clock up to Jackson, and then from Highway 19, and Highway 19 up to MacArthur from 3 until 5 to get the
Yes.
Santa Dash in.
Uh-huh.
So, and that was approved by the alderman.
Yes. So come out and watch this. This ought to be pretty good.
And a parade.
Or you know,
Yeah.
if you're so inclined, dust off that Santa outfit and sign up and go for a dash.
There you go. There you go. So, it should be a lot of fun. All right. The consent agenda was approved. It wasn't mentioned about the sales tax revenues, Mr. Nash, but it has been a good year for sales tax in the city and the county.
You know, it really has, and this is really uncharted territory for everyone with COVID and all those issues still going on, and that's one of the things that we were really worried about when we set up our budget for this year is, you know, just the unknown of not knowing how everything is going to come in, and so we budgeted accordingly for that, and I've been really impressed. Our sales tax and everything has stayed pretty strong, and we
It's actually
appreciate that.
exceeded last year.
Yeah, and you know, that's great news, and I definitely appreciate. You know, we always talk about people buying local and that type of thing, and because people are doing that, you know, that keeps our numbers up and allows us to do more projects and get more stuff done in the city, and that's definitely appreciated.
Haven't seen the same for cart tax, so we know that some of the
Yeah.
traveling has been down, but that means people are buying local and shopping local, which is okay too. But we know we've had a lot of visitors through the area, you
Yeah.
know, lots of visitors through the area, and so we're hoping that cart tax comes back up. I don't think it'll be normal, but I
Yeah.
think it will respond. But and now that we kind of had a little resurgence, it may actually drop back off a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's a good part of the consent agenda. And as I mentioned, the city is on a fiscal year. So this is really when you start talking about November or October, actually, it's only the 4th month.
Yeah, that
That
is true.
So you're hoping it'll continue. But the second half of the last fiscal year is very strong as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, always looking at that and getting up to try and reach your budgetary numbers. And I know that the city was very, very cautious in their budget this year. And you had to be. Who knew what's
Absolutely.
going to be out there? So very good. Let's just keep those good numbers coming. Keep buying local. All right. Mr. Gary Brown, the Planning and Zoning Board Chairman, was in to report on actually a kind of a couple of meetings. The chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission was there to report on the Planning and Zoning Board from October 20th, which had a little caveat because what they needed was a final answer from the Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment.
That is correct.
You know, they hadn't met in 28 years or something like that. Now they've met like 3 times in 3 months.
Normally, that's the committee everybody requests to be on because they never meet.
Yeah.
And they've made their money this year.
They get paid?
No. Nope, not at all.
And I'll say, I'll join that committee and they get paid. Absolutely. No wonder why you got a line for that one.
Yeah. We have a line because they normally don't have to meet.
Right. Well, what the Planning and Zoning Commission cannot make a decision on an adjustment variance.
Yes.
That has to go to the Board of Adjustment. But they can vote prior to the board meeting saying if they approve that, then we are in favor of this happening.
Yeah, and we had talked about this at the last meeting, and this property is at 712 North Hickory. The other side of it is at 713 North Oak. And the property owner owns the whole section, and he wanted to subdivide that. But the issue is where he wanted to put the line didn't meet the specifications for a lot size for the city. To actually make everything work, the line needed to be right through the middle of a garage. And of course, you can't very well do that.
You can.
Well, yeah, that would be weird.
As long as he owned both properties, it's not a problem, right? But if he sold one or eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm assuming that's what he wants to do. He's went through and remodeled those houses. And if you haven't been by, you need to drive by. They look amazing.
Yeah, they look good.
But anyway, they had asked to subdivide. Well, it had to go to the Board of Adjustments because of the measurements and everything for those lots. The Board of Adjustments did approve that. So then it was brung to the alderman last night for approval.
So the Planning and Zoning had already approved recommending it to the alderman if the Board of Adjustment would allow those variances to the actually the setbacks to be waived.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, very good. So then that moved forward, and later on the board went ahead and actually approved that in the first bill. The night was 3466. There's quite a few bills last night.
There is. We had a bunch of bills last night.
And I don't mean those kind of bills.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other bills. All right. Mr. Walden, the city administrator, did update the city on a few things, but also had some help in doing a few things as well. And he wanted to, first off, update people on the progress at the construction work at the City Hall administrative offices. We got a new roof put on. Now we're getting a new inside done, which is great. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I was in there yesterday looking at the building and the progress and everything, and I tell you what, I'm so excited. It looks so nice. I think the workflow for not only the workers but the utility customers as they come in, the workflow is going to be so much better. The security is going to be so much better. I think it's a huge positive, for the community.
Well, Mayor was set up as a bank.
Yeah.
A bank from the 1990s. Those banks don't even hardly exist anymore. And so to make those changes and make it safer for everybody and make it flow, like you say, much more flow to it, it was a needed improvement.
Yeah, it was. Needed. And, we had some safety concerns that was that dealt with this too, and not only the security of staff, but we had the old carpet in there had started loosening up and was wrinkling and causing a trip hazard, and we had some tile that was popping up off the floor, that was causing some issues, and so this allowed us to address all of that, get all of that fixed, all that taken care of. Right. And it looks really nice.
Right. But that was the character of the office. You got to have character in your building.
Absolutely.
Make it duck to this, don't hit there, don't
Yeah.
step there. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, also yesterday, the city has been putting videos on their Facebook page
Uh-huh.
that people can go and view. That gives them a little bit of update on what is going on with some of the, obviously, the administration building, utility bills, different things going on as well, including the old City Hall Theater.
That is correct. And, with these videos, we're trying to answer everybody's questions. We're trying to be as upfront and proactive as possible in getting information out. And so, if there's any kind of questions that anybody has that they would like for us to address in those update videos, you're more than welcome to message us on our Facebook page, call the office, whatever you need to do to get that information to us. There's actually an email address, and I don't have that in front of me right now, but
Why do we pay you at all?
I don't know. I believe it's salemo@salemo.com is what that address is. But if that doesn't work, call the office or send us a message on Facebook, and we'll address those questions in the upcoming videos. But it's just something for us to be able to get out more information quicker to the public.
Okay, very good. Ray, turn it over to Melissa DuBois, Park and Recreation Director for the city, and talk about the Light Up the Park. This is going to be opening, well, I say opening, it will be available from the day after Thanksgiving all the way through January 1st at our Salem City Park. It'll be one way in, one way out, guys, so you're not going to have two-way traffic in the middle of the way. And she mentioned that, it's gone very well. Actually, I talked to her right after, and she said we have 20. She had mentioned 18, 20 participants so far that's going to have a display up. And still has maybe 5 or 6 more that will be doing something as well.
That's great. And, with it being our first year doing this, it's really exciting to see, kind of what happens there. And I hope it's something that grows and we can continue doing it. And I'm really excited about it.
Very good. So anyway, that's you can still do it, by the way, but you need to call her because time is running out and locations are running out.
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to contact her at 729-8, oh my goodness, 6290. Almost forgot the number.
Oh my
729-6290. It's kind of like you forgetting that email. And just give her a call and tell her you'd be interested. If you have a business, organization, you can just do it, as you yourself. If you just want to go out there and put up a display and be a part of it, that's cool too. You can do that.
Yeah.
Just call her 729-6290 and let her know that you'd be interested so you can meet with her and find out where your display might be on the path through. Interesting stuff. It's going to be some interesting displays.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
I got a feeling. She also gave a report on the old City Hall and the theater. We all know that that's been kind of delayed with COVID-19 as well. They ordered 186 seats. I know some people have purchased seats, and those have now been ordered, and they will be installed here in the near future. And they did put out a request for bids for lighting and ceiling tiles now, so to get that old auditorium some new life.
That'll be great. I think this will be a huge benefit, to our community and be able to give something for families, an affordable option, for families to come and have an evening out or whatever. So I think it'll be a really good deal.
There you go. Very good. All right. Then Ray turned it over to Public Works Director Mark Nash. He said that the utility bills for the period of July 31st to 8/29 went out last Thursday.
That is correct. We're starting to get a few phone calls about people that haven't received their bills yet. You should be getting them just today, any time, because like I said, all of the bills were sent out on Thursday. In the next day or two, if you haven't received your bill, call up to the office and or stop by the office, and they can print you a new one out, or whatever you need, whatever they need to do.
There's still some issues on previous bills that still have to be worked out, but and if you have some of those issues, you can just go up to City Hall Council chambers.
Uh-huh.
They can print you out your bill.
Yes, that is correct.
So if you didn't get it and you now want it, well, you should pay it. Pretty soon you're going to have to pay it. Get on up there and get it done. And if there's still some issue, then sit down with one of the girls there or whoever needs to be there, maybe Mark, and find out what the problem is and
Sure,
make sure to get it addressed.
And if you get this bill and you've got a question, go up to the office, and the girls will be more than happy to sit down with you and work through those and look for those issues. But a lot of people we're still having issues being able to get through and talk to the girls on the phone. So if you've got time, go up to the office and you can definitely sit face to face with them and go through those
Right.
issues.
Remember, the office right now is in the City Hall Council chambers.
That is correct.
So that's where you would have to go. Also, don't forget, city offices and buildings will be closed on the 26th and the 27th for Thanksgiving.
That is correct. Be here before you know it.
My gosh, by golly, it will, too. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. All right, let's go to some of these bills. First off, we kind of already talked about Bill 3466, so I don't think we need to, go any further with that one. 3467 and 3468 are related, so why don't we just talk about those together, even though it is two separate bills, because it deals with two separate things. One is the funding to get reimbursed for some ADA accessibility of city facilities, to do an engineering study to see what the city needs to improve on, and MoDOT is actually going to give you back $8,000.
That is correct.
But you have to pay some first.
Yeah.
So 3468 is a contract with CM Archer Group to assess the transportation-related ADA compliance that the city of Salem needs.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a catch-22 here. You need to do this. By the way, this is not new. In case anybody forgot about the ADA Act, I think it was 1991.
I couldn't remember the exact date that Robert said, but it was in the early 90s.
Early 1990. I think it was 1991, I believe, at ADA. The ADA Act became, I think, enforced. I think it was actually passed in 1990. And there have been many tweaks to it.
Uh-huh.
The one issue is that the penalty phase of that, there really was no teeth to it.
Yes.
For public facilities. That was, you can be grandfathered in. Okay, I understand that. Some buildings that were built in the 1970s, they're probably not going to have ramps.
Uh-huh.
They're probably not going to have certain things, and may not even have room to put the ramps. Those could possibly be grandfathered in. However, City of Salem has tried to always come up to the compliance. It's not always easy, including the old City Hall. They put a ramp on the south side to get in a side door. And so they also have accessibility going in through council chambers to get to the basement area that you can access that.
Yes.
ADA accessibility is there. So it is there, but not everybody did that, and not every facility has that.
That is correct.
Thusly, this needs to be a study done.
Uh-huh.
So now what Robert had mentioned is that, MoDOT says, if these people haven't done anything for 30 years, I think we've given them time to accomplish that. That when they apply for some of these other grants through MoDOT, they're going to say no.
Yeah, that is correct.
That can be a real bad bummer.
It is, so hopefully we can get this done, and this will give us basically a roadmap of the direction that we need to go. And there's going to be studies after this one is over. This grant just takes care of more of the transportation side. Right. But along with this packet is going to come more information where we can do self-assessments of the rest of our buildings and interiors, from what I understand, to see exactly what we need to do to become compliant. This isn't something that they're going to give us the documentation today, we're going to work on it tomorrow, and then it's going to be done. This is going to be a
Don't you wish?
yeah. This is going to be a living document, so to speak, and so it'll be something that we can look at, we can update, we can address, for years to come.
Okay, so I mean, and one of the things it is, as Brad mentioned, this is transportation related initially.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it stops there, but this means, down the road, updating sidewalks, making sure sidewalks are a right width. We have some sidewalks right now that are like 30 inches wide. You can't even take a wheelchair on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some or some things to address, not address, but address. There already was a study done, I believe it was paid for by Healthy Dane County, about the sidewalk situation when they were looking at safe routes to schools, I believe, when they were talking about putting bike paths in and different things of that nature on certain streets. It didn't get done because there was some safety issues where people are parking, and there's some kind of hidden issues. A lot of people see the bike paths. You go to St. Louis or Springfield, and you see a little mark on the road where there's bike paths. Well, if people are parked there, where does the bike go? And then if you're going to eliminate the parking there, well, where do some of those people park? And that's the only place they have, because they don't have a garage, they don't have a driveway. That is where they park, is on the street. So there were some issues with that, but they did the study, and the study still probably is up to date as anything. It was only 2, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, I believe that's
Maybe
correct.
4 most, but still pretty much up to date. And it went over the conditions of the sidewalks, some that were in great shape, some that had been replaced, some that aren't even there. Maybe they've gotten covered over by brush or sunk or some whatever. And so that will be a big part of this too. So it's that part's already done. So there you go. It's kind of a head start. But part of that is still going to be putting a list together by the city to submit to Archer, which, by the way, is an approved company approved engineering service by MoDOT to do this.
Yes.
There's not that many.
Yeah, that is
I
correct.
think like 6 or 7 engineering firms that qualified to do this. So
Well, and it only made sense for us since Archer does the majority of our engineering and stuff. They're already familiar with our buildings, and so it kind of made sense just to go with Archer on this one and let
plus
them take
they
care
are
of it.
approved.
Yeah, yeah,
That helped. And it's called a TEAP agreement. It's Traffic Engineering Assistance Program, and that will provide $8,000 of the $10,000 that the city will pay Archer. They'll give that reimbursed through the TEAP funds.
yes,
And that was Bill 3467 and Bill 3468, and the board did approve those separately, but they do kind of overlap each other in this project.
uh huh.
All right, very good. A lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork.
You're
this
halfway through your War and Peace now. All right. Bill number 3469 amended the city code for qualifications for aldermen. I'll be honest with you. I read that thing and I looked at the old one. I think the only thing I saw was one word change.
Yeah, there wasn't much that I seen.
That's all I saw, was one word that was changed. But it's changed.
Yep.
And the state statute changed it. So, by gosh, by golly, we better do it.
We better do it.
We better do it. So the board obviously had changed that. It didn't have anything to do with the year. You have to be in the city, you have to live in the city, and you have to be in the ward you want. Okay, so don't forget, you have to be there at least for 1 year.
Yes.
You have to be 18 years of age, and you have to be in that ward throughout the entire length of your term.
Yes.
So not for 9 months, not for 14 months, 2 years. And then if you want to go to the other ward and if you move over there, well, you can do that. You can, but you got to live there for a year. So
Yes.
obviously you can't be on the East Ward and then the next election be on the West Ward because you haven't lived in the West Ward for a year. So you wouldn't qualify. Okay? I know people are sitting there, wow, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
No, not really.
No,
You know,
not
a lot of
that big of a
people just
deal.
don't move back and forth all that much. But anyway, that's the rule, and you have to stay there and you have to fulfill your term. If you can't, if you do move and move out of the area, then you have to resign.
That is correct.
And an appointee will be made by you.
Yep, until the next election.
Till the next election. Very good. All right, that was approved. Bill number 3470. The city's gonna purchase some real estate. We're gonna build a well.
That is correct. DNR has some calculations that shows.
Boy, don't they?
Yeah,
They've got all kinds of
they've got all kinds of calculations. But they can basically look at our water system and tell us, when we're getting close to being maxed out. If we need to build another well, what we need to do, and it's their recommendation at this point that the city build a new well to complement our other wells that we have. And so we've been working on this for a little while now, trying to find a good location. There's been surveys that's had to have been done. They've been looking at water tables, that type of thing. And so we found a piece of property that everybody agrees would be a good fit for us. DNR has also agreed. So we had to pass bill number 3470 to purchase a little bit of ground to put this thing on.
Not even an acre.
It was, 0.79 acres or something like that. So, yeah.
The wording was bigger than the property.
It was. It definitely was. So,
Ask Mary. I was hoping you were going to tell her to read the whole thing again.
oh my gosh! One of these days before I'm done, I'm going to make her do that.
She just looked at you like caption only? Please. Pretty please. Yeah, she didn't want to go through the degrees, minutes, and seconds again, did she?
You get into these property descriptions, and man, I tell you what, they're.
Yeah, but that is how it's done, I mean, it's.
It is, but
if you get your old, go out and dig up something old, and you can see some of the stuff. And it used to be that they used to put the actual numbers on posts, and they would tell you exactly what it is. I don't know. I haven't seen a marker in a long time, so I don't know if they still do that. But yeah, they used to do that. The old abstracts used to. Used to have all this in it, and that was how they found the property. I mean, you had to go out and walk that, to a true point of beginning. You got to walk this, 186 feet exactly, which that's okay, but 184.21. That's not so easy. What's a 0.21 of a foot? 3 inches, or 3.25 inch. I don't know. Yeah, that was always amazing to me, but. Yeah, I remember looking into doing that for a living. I said, "That's too fine for me."
Yeah.
Give me the numbers. I know what the IRS will do. Round it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay us more money. Anyway, but it will. The city will have to go into a real estate contract and buy it from the Mosers and Kenneth Tyler Sherrill. And purchase this small piece of property to build this well, and then that's the purchase of the property does not automatically just build the well. The well has to be paid for as well, drilled, and everything else, and then MoDOT will have its approval of that too.
Yeah, and wells aren't cheap.
Not lately.
Especially when you get into commercial wells and stuff that we have to drill.
So how deep did MoDOT say this one had to go, or did they?
It was in some paperwork. I don't remember the exact feet that we had to go down, but it was quite a ways.
Well, I know some of we have are fairly shallow.
Yeah. That
are not pumping as much water as they used to, or sand.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and I'm wanting to say 300 or 400 feet, but that may be off. Like I said, I haven't seen that in a while.
Well, like I said, it doesn't say it in there.
Yeah.
And so DNR, they got a lot of these little abbreviations we have to remember. DNR will tell you how far you have to go down.
There's no doubt about it. They will tell us
they
what
will
we
tell you,
need
yeah.
to do.
I'm just surprised they don't let you do the wastewater, which comes out.
Yeah.
It's cleaner than what you find in some of the underground wells.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy. All right. Well, we're not done yet.
Not done yet.
No, we're not done yet. We got some resolutions. We're done with the bills, but we got some resolutions. And 2020 is a renewal of a memorandum of understanding that with William Lynch Elementary and the developmental preschool that's over there, which is in the old library, in times of emergency could use the old Salem City Hall. Because it get in the basement, it can be protected. I don't think there's a lot of problem with anybody wanting to allow this to happen, but they did want to have some kind of time element based upon, okay, well, we just don't want to open it up for them and they can stay there for 35 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like you said, there's not an issue with the school doing that, but they did, the alderman did ask last night that we put in some wording to where if it's going to be used for, I think it was 24 hours.
More than 24 hours.
Or longer, then they have to get approval from myself or the city administrator. Because as of right now, the current language, there's nothing there. It just says they can use it in an emergency. And so, you know, it's one of those deals. If they have a gas leak and they need to move the kids over there for a couple hours, that's not an issue at all. If something happens and they have a fire or a tornado or whatever, you know,
Flood.
Are they gonna be there for days? And if so, what does that look like? And so, just a few things that need to be answered. So
Yeah, there always is some concerns because, you know, a lot of times if it's like damage from a storm, you got, you know, you think, okay, this should only take a little time, but you may be waiting for insurance adjusters, and you have to go bid it all out, and then by the time, and then you may have to have engineers come in to make sure there's no damage to when what looks like something fairly simple can end up lasting 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, that is correct.
So, you know, that's part of why I think that they wanted to do this. Of course, you have elections in that basement. You know, municipal elections. I guess, okay, kids, you're out.
Yeah.
No. I'm joking, okay?
Kids, grab a ballot.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Well, it would be an educational thing, I'm telling you. This is how you fill out a ballot. It's not a mail out, I can tell you that. All right. What a world we live in anymore.
Oh, yes.
Resolution 21, 2020. This is a resolution that reminds everybody that we have another election coming up. This one's in April. It's called the municipal election. Well, we hope it's in April. The last one ended up being in June, so we just hope it'll be in April. This also sets the parameters, you know, for an East Ward, West Ward alderman. Also enforces the dates that filing dates can begin on the 15th of December, but enforces the amount that an alderman has a $25 fee, what you have to do to qualify, etc. So this resolution kind of goes through the whole gambit and where the voting will be happening, which is still the same 2 locations it has for quite some time. But all that had to be approved by the alderman way ahead of time, and we say December 15th is a long way off. Not really.
Not really. It'll be here
less than a month.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we went through all that. This is for 2-year terms. 8 o'clock in the morning, December 15th. It will close at 5 o'clock, January 19th. And just, if you need to file, you have to go to city clerk, and you have to get the form, fill it out, pay the fee, and you'll be good to go.
Yes.
And wait for the election.
Yep. That's the hardest part, is waiting for the election.
Hey, you know, you registered December 15th. You still got 4.5 months to wait. Yeah.
And then election day feels like it's a month, all packed all in one day.
I'll bet. Okay, so anyway, that was approved. And then unfinished business, Samara Dozier, I believe is how she said it, something like that. At 1506 South Main. She had come in at the last alderman meeting and requested a written permit from the board so she could keep her mini pigs in a resident location. So
Yes.
There are already ordinances against that.
And the alderman, in talking to the city attorney, the way our codes and stuff are written, the alderman can approve a permit to allow someone to keep pigs in the city limits. In this case, that permit was not approved, so she'll need to look for other arrangements to keep her pigs. So, but she does have 4 pigs, from what I understand. One of those was getting ready to leave, so she would be down to 3. But there was still some concerns about neighbors, that type of thing, and so that permit was denied.
These are not full swine. These are not huge pigs, but they're not the little itty mini pigs either.
No.
I saw a picture of them, and the mini pigs had legs like about 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the ground. I remember them, and they became kind of a thing. But these are kind of like midi pigs, kind of in between the mini and the full one. So
Yeah.
they're just. I don't know if that's a mini pig or not. Maybe that's still a classification for them, but a little bit. That's a pretty good sized little pig for being a mini pig.
They seem to be nice pigs. There was a video that I saw last night. The WCA's recycling person was picking up cans, and I guess one of the pigs had gotten out of its pen and was walking down the street and walked up to the recycling guy, and the recycling guy was standing there petting the pig in the middle of the road. So, they seem to be nice, but unfortunately, it's just not a direction that we want to go at this time.
No, and so that was the permit was denied, and I think part of that happened. I think Alderman James had mentioned it as he walked out his back window, and there was full swine waiting for him out there.
Yeah.
Where that came from, he didn't know. But right now, with the feral hog situation that we have right now in the Ozarks, I think that's a little bit of a scare too, because
Absolutely.
If hogs get out, they become feral pretty quick. To survive, they can do whatever they need to. So the permit was denied, and that was it. And she'll have to make some other arrangements. And she can contact the city attorney as to what her options might be and things of that nature if she's not sure. But that's up to what she needs to do. All right, very good. Well, after that, it was closed session. Any votes taken or anything?
No votes taken.
No votes taken. So I guess we're done.
We're done.
We're done. All right, very good. Well, Mayor, we appreciate you coming in, spending some time with us, and getting us up to date on different things going on in our Board of Aldermen meeting. A lot of bills this time, and so a lot of discussion, which is good.
Absolutely.
But maybe we'll be back in City Hall Council chambers for the next meeting on December 1st.
That would be great.
Or December 7th, I believe. December 7th, yeah. It'll be after the parade. Yeah.
That is correct.
I keep trying to remember in my head. It's November. Right? Thanksgiving messes me up.
Yeah.
Because I always think Thanksgiving's the end of the month, right? Well, you got an extra day there, and so it'll throw things off a little bit. So December 7th will be the next meeting, and at a location still to be determined.
Yes.
Don't know. We're hoping.
Yes, we're definitely hoping.
But we don't know. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming in, spending some time
Thanks
with
for
us, giving
having
a little bit more detail about it. Remember, if you want to check out that video, just go to the City of Salem Facebook page, and you can check that out. You know about how long that one is? You already had one up there before. It was like 6 minutes.
Yeah, I was actually the videographer for this video.
Oh, nice.
So,
Look at that big word. Where's Melba now?
Yeah. Spell that one, Melba.
Yeah, that's like 5 syllables.
But it's somewhere around 3 minutes, 50 seconds, 4 minutes right there.
Yeah. Just kind of goes on and just updates people on what's going on. So really quickly. So, again, very good. So, thank you again for coming in and spending some time with us.
No problem.
All of us here wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, and you
Just
the
don't
same.
go to Pennsylvania because they won't allow any meetings, private or public, now with families. I thought, good luck on that one, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I want to see how you're going to enforce that. But nonetheless, but anyway, with your mini, at your house, it's a mini town anyway. So, I figure you guys will have a pretty full house.
Oh, absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
good. Very good. Anyway, that's Mayor Brad Nash and our Mayor's Moments right here on KSMO Radio.